I want you to hit me as hard as you can.
I want you to be nice until it's time to not be nice. If you know that quote, then you're in the right place. Pull up a chair, order a beer, stab a $100 bill, because this is real action, and we're talking Roadhouse. A film I like to think of as the John Wick of bouncer action flicks. Roadhouse is more of an experience than just another movie. When I think of the movies I was raised on, this is right at the top of the list, and it's a wonder I didn't grow up to be a world-famous cooler like Patrick Swayze's Zen bouncer dude, philosophy major, Dalton. Just Dalton, because having a full name is just too much for this cat.
The name is Dalton.
Roadhouse isn't a movie you can just passively watch. There's simply too much going on and everybody is a character. Almost like they know they're playing roles in a movie that can charitably be described as a guilty pleasure. Honestly, it's set in such a bizarre macho universe, not unlike the John Wick films, that feels like there's this secret society nobody knew about. One where bouncers are all connected through some underground network, and all of the fighters are ranked like some sort of Mortal Kombat tournament. At least, that's how it seems when we're introduced to Dalton, a glistening god who, when we first meet him at a swanky New York club, has a drunk patron stab him because, quote, "I always wanted to try you." That's the kind of fame bouncers have in this weird alternate universe Roadhouse has sucked us into. Dalton stitches the wound up himself, of course, because what self-respecting action hero wouldn't? Dalton is hired to help clean up the ultimate fixer-upper, a Missouri crap hole called the Double Deuce. To show how zen he is about moving on, Dalton just tosses the keys to his 1964 Buick to a homeless dude, then goes and uncovers a fly Mercedes. Why do you need to do this? There's probably some Confucius saying behind it or something. So let's talk about the Double Deuce, because this place is mint. It makes Mos Eisley look like a Boy Scout retreat. This place I'm not even sure Bar Rescue could save. There are more broken bottles flying through the air than being consumed by paying customers. The house band is led by a blind dude on a lap guitar, played by the late great Jeff Healey, behind a stage of fencing so he doesn't get hit by the inevitable barrage of bottles or flying chairs, because there's a bloody brawl every single night. Women are abused out in the open, some of them sell drugs from out of their cleavage, dudes dance half naked, weapons are everywhere, property damage in the thousands per night. The bouncers are out of shape and overmatched. Well, with the exception of hardcore wrestling legend Terry Funk, that is. Speaking of brawls, a huge fight breaks out after a man offers to let another kiss his girl's, quote, pair of attitudes for $20, only to have the man grope them like bags of sand before admitting he has no money. Told you, this place is mint. Nobody ever calls the cops in this town either. All of this just happens, and it's just another Wednesday. And everyone has heard of Dalton, but nobody knows his story. And they all thought he'd be bigger, like Zeus shooting lightning out of his ass or something.
This Dalton character, what's his story?
Story is, you fuck with him and he'll seal your fate.
Dude, that's the kind of line that reads really awesome, but sounds really stupid, which you can say about a lot of the Roadhouse script. Dalton takes charge and turns the Double Deuce into a semi-respectable joint, but runs afoul of smug power player Brad Wesley, played by the late Ben Gazzara, who basically doesn't like Dalton because he's too pretty, and perhaps because Dalton drives on the right side of the road. I mean, who does that? Joining in the fight is Sam Elliot as another cooler legend, Wade Garrett, who is like the Yoda of all bouncers, which makes Dalton his mullet-haired Padawan learner.
I love you, mijo.
Elliot is badass here, but look at him. He's old even when he was young. Every little detail about Roadhouse is absurd, and that's why we love it. It can scarcely go 5 minutes without either a bar-clearing brawl or somebody getting naked. Dalton chooses to live in a barn, which happens to be literally across the lake from his nemesis, so they can taunt one another from afar. There are knife boots. Kelly Lynch is a hot doctor who specializes in stab wounds and giant eyewear. There are monster trucks demolishing local businesses. There's Patrick Swayze's ass, Sam Elliott's package, and Keith David. Wait, that is Keith David, right? Damn, that guy just can't stay away from real action. We don't honestly think of Patrick Swayze as one of the top action stars of the day, but perhaps we should. With Red Dawn, Point Break, and Roadhouse, he's got 3 stone-cold classics. Swayze just had something unique about him. We talk about the zen aspects of his character in Roadhouse, like this moment when he's performing Tai Chi to a captive audience. But it was a trait that seemed to follow him around both in life and on the big screen. Perhaps we look at him differently because, unlike Stallone or Schwarzenegger and others, Swayze was just as much a sex symbol as an action star, with films like Dirty Dancing and Ghost winning hearts worldwide. Appropriately enough, Roadhouse was directed by a guy named Rowdy Harrington. With a name like that, you might think he had a former life as a pro wrestler, and some of the action in Roadhouse would back that up. This is a film where everything blows up. No, I mean really. If there's even the tiniest flame, that bad boy is getting the Michael Bay special. One guy gets crushed by a polar bear taxidermy. And then there's this iconic scene where Dalton chases down a motorcycle on foot only to fight the guy and rip his throat out. A fate that had helpfully been foreshadowed earlier in the movie. So nice. Maybe it's not a coincidence Rowdy went on to direct 1992's Gladiator, another film about an underground fighting circuit, so to speak. And later he helmed the Bruce Willis actioner Striking Distance, which would be his biggest box office hit. Screenwriter R. Lance Hill, using his David Lee Henry pseudonym, must have been high on peyote when he wrote the Roadhouse script. Somehow it combines macho philosophy with pacifist teachings to make some hilariously nonsensical tough guy talk.
Nobody ever wins a fight.
I'll give you a local.
No, thank you.
Do you enjoy pain?
Pain don't hurt.
Do you always carry your medical records around with you?
Saves time. Give me the biggest guy in the world. You smash his knee, he'll drop like a stone.
I wonder if somebody calls my mama a whore.
Is she? I want you to be nice until it's time to not be nice.
I used to fuck guys like you in prison.
Maybe not that last one, but you get the point. Awful one-liners are one of Roadhouse's mightiest weapons. Swayze is what makes this so great. He endured what many said was one of the most brutal productions of his career, one that saw him injured badly enough to turn down future roles in Tango and Cash and Predator 2. Swayze was trained by martial artist and action star Benny Urquidez, but still took such a pounding that he once reportedly commented that he wasn't sure he'd survive the entire production. We see some of this in the last big fight scene, a one-on-one against Wesley's top goon, Jimmy, played by Marshall R. Teague. Swayze and Teague started off disliking one another, but grew to be friends over their mutual liking for realistic action, which led to a lot of improvising when they finally had a chance to fight. It's definitely one of the most grueling scenes in the movie, although no actual throats were ripped out, I promise.
I said I ain't going down.
I'm gonna kill you the old-fashioned way.
Roadhouse was one of two movies Swayze had in 1989. The other, the underrated Next of Kin. I love that movie. He would follow that up with two of the biggest films of his career, Ghost and Point Break. Not bad, right? But for as great as those movies are, they'll never hold a candle to Roadhouse. If there's such a thing as a good, bad movie, Roadhouse is the epitome. Roadhouse gets an 8 out of 10 Daltons. I mean Stallones. Thank you for watching our show. If you like what you see, please subscribe to our channel, tell your friends who like this sort of content, and turn on the bell to receive notifications for all of our latest videos. We're an independent company and we appreciate all of your support.